Hello everybody, E here. This is a different type of video. I haven't done one of these in a while, which is just kind of a discussion video. I usually save stuff like this for my live streams. I haven't had the time to do live streams lately, so I just wanted to do this type of video, which is a literary discussion. And I wanted to kind of explain my journey from genre nut, genre hound, gore hound, whatever you want to call it, from horror fan to literary fiction fan. This is one of those things where I'm just talking about myself. I'm not saying that anybody else has to go out there and start reading. I do have recommendations if you would like to broaden your horizons and kind of branch out from genre. And that includes romance, romantasy, fantasy, let's see here, horror, sci-fi, any of those genres that you can really get trapped in. And you're missing some really, really good books, just based on the fact that you will not step outside. And mainly what I mean by that, you can find that stuff, you can find romance, you can find fantasy, you can find horror, you can find sci-fi, you can find all those things in the books I'm going to be discussing. You can find all of it. Sometimes in a better scenario, better written. It evokes stronger emotions. Now, if you're just here for the comfort food, this video ain't for you. If you're just here for the stuff that you love and only, it's the only thing that does anything for you is to read stuff like, I don't know, I guess Richard Lehman, I'll throw that out there. Not saying that he didn't have some literary merit, but for the most part, he was a word mill. He cranked out book after book after book, and that's how Richard Lehman was my mentor. I love the man to death, but also he wasn't writing high literature because he didn't want to, so that's fine. But I want to tell you exactly how it happened for me. I was reading a lot of horror from my teenage years all the way up until my 30s. And that was just the same thing over and over again, to the point where one day I picked up a Bentley Little book and I read it and I hated it. It was the newest Bentley Little. There was nothing wrong with it. I've reread it since and I still don't care for it, but I still agree that there's nothing wrong with it. It is a good Bentley Little book. It is a good, not description, but it's indicative of what Bentley Little does. It's a good sample of his stuff, so why didn't I like it? I was just tired of the formula. And if you are like me and you are tired of the formula, then this video should help you. I will never forget this. This is how ingrained it is into my head. I will never forget this scenario. I went to Gladwell's Books in Georgia, and I walked in and I was running around. Of course, I grabbed my Stephen King stuff, my Dean Koontz. I grabbed all the stuff that I didn't have at the time. But then I saw this book sitting on the shelf, and I thought it was horror. I thought it was something like Clive Barker, because doesn't this cover just scream Clive Barker? This is The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson. Not to be confused with Andy Davidson. I just realized how close their names are together. But yeah, and I like Andy stuff too. But I saw this and I was like, that looks amazing. Also, I like the lady with the wings and whatnot. And I'm a book collector as well. I always have been. And this one has a really cool, what are these called? I don't know. The eye underneath, when it's something else underneath it's called something, and now I can't remember what it's called. Let me know down there in the doobly-doo. You guys are amazing. You always do that. I picked this up and thinking it was horror, and even the description kind of said, the narrator of The Gargoyle is a very contemporary cynic, physically beautiful and sexually adept, who dwells in the moral vacuum that is modern life. As the book opens, he is driving along a dark road when he is distracted by what seems to be a flight of arrows. He crashes into a ravine and suffers horrible burns over much of his body. As he recovers in a burn ward, undergoing the tortures of the damned, he awaits the day when he can leave the hospital and commit carefully planned suicide. For he is now a monster in appearance as well as in soul. I'm like, okay, so dude's a monster in appearance and soul. This has got to be horror, right? It's not horror. It's not. It is, however, one of my top 10 favorite books of all time. Now, what happens to dude is horrifying. He's burned all the way from head to toe. He loses him wee-wee. Him no have no more dangle bits. Okay? Loses them completely. Then he falls in love with this strange artist that keeps coming around. Well, I don't know if falls in love is the right thing. He becomes obsessed with this artist that keeps popping up at the clinic where he's living. And there's this thing in his head that he calls the bitch snake. And whenever the bitch snake comes around, some of the words are blacked out. It's very cool. It's very experimental. But my point is, I had never read anything like this. Nothing like this. This is almost an anthology film in that it's not a mosaic novel, but it is kind of like an anthology film in that there's stories within the stories. So you have the main framing device, which is the guy recovering from his car accident and losing him wee-wee and all that stuff. You have that surrounding each one of these stories that Marianne Engel, I still remember this woman's name, ages and ages. It's been 15 years since I started my journey into, moving away from genre into literary fiction. Only because, and I gotta stress this, only because I love it as much as I do, and it nourishes me. It makes me feel whole, where genre didn't do that for me anymore. If you want to keep reading genre, by all means, read as many as you can. Help the genres out. Throw all your money at the genres. But if you want something more, again, this video is for you. And I know this isn't going to stop people from going, oh, he thinks he's better than people. He thinks he's smarter than... Whatever. I just want you to know, those people who actually listen and pay attention to what I have to say, that this is the reason why. I'm trying to help people who have asked me, where should I start with literary fiction? Or why did you start reading literary fiction? Or do you still read genre? Yes, I do. The reviews are up on the channel. You're getting at least one, at the most 2 horror novel reviews a month, okay? But back to this book. Marianne Engel tells these amazing, beautiful stories. It is also the first place I ever read about a gay character. It's the Viking story. There's a story from a feudal Japan. There's all these beautiful, beautiful stories about love and adventure and weird happenings. And I believe, I could be wrong, but some magical realism thrown in. All that stuff in this book. You get all of it. The Gargoyle. If you have not read The Gargoyle, I highly suggest, as my #1 book, to draw you away from genre or to give you something new. If you want to try and read deeper books that have a little bit more to them, sometimes a metric fuck ton more to them than genre, this is where to go. Because if you think that, certain books like The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum is a punch to the face, these are like, these books are like being run over and smushed by a Mack truck. I'm trying to think of the rolly things. The ones with the big barrels on the front that smooth out the road. I can't remember what it's called. But yeah. Anyways, those. And that's, I'm going to get stuck on that. That ever happened to you? You get stuck, you can't think of a word, and you steamroller. There we go. It's like getting run over by a steamroller. These are affecting novels, and I'm not saying that genre can't be. I'm saying that, at least for me, this more so than that. Yeah, there's some punchy stuff in genre, though. Definitely. So this is where I started. I picked it up, I opened it up, and I started reading, and that was it. I fell in love with Marianne Engel. I fell in love with Andrew Davidson. I don't think he's written another book since. And I check every now and again. I haven't checked in a while, so I need to check again. That's where it started. I was like, okay, I need to start branching out more. I need to start reading more. And oddly enough, the very next thing I read was Gone with the Wind. Because I had it. Because I owned it. And I fell in love with it. I no longer have a copy of it. I don't know where it is. Actually, I had this paperback, this beloved paperback version for ages, and now I can't find it. So if you have a copy you want to send me, I'd love to reread it. But other than that, I'll never buy it. Anywho, so this came first. Then I read Gone with the Wind, and I was like, this is so much better than I thought it would be, because I can't stand the movie. The movie's one of my mother's and father's favorite movies. It was always on at the house when I was younger. It seemed like it was just always playing. It is a super long and annoying movie, so once it starts, you know nothing else is going to be on the TV for like 3 hours. Yeah, but I fell in love with Gone with the Wind, the novel. It is nothing like you would think. It's not like pro-slavery. It's not even pro-South. It is a story of a woman that goes from the highest form of society down to destitute and impoverished. But my favorite, Rhett Butler, is my favorite character in there, and Rhett Butler was very progressive for the time frame during the Civil War. Now I want to tell you, going into the next, not the next level, but I met someone who I have not talked to in a long time, and that's Gregor Zane. I met Gregor Zane, and he introduced me to a bunch of stuff that I had never heard of, a bunch of concepts I had never heard of. I had never heard of framing device before him, because he read Bazin, and he's like, I normally don't like framing devices, or whatever he said. Anyways, I learned a lot about literature that was not genre. He had this whole thing. He likes fantasy without dragons, horror without zombies, and there's something else. I remember that much about him. I haven't talked to him in over 5 years. But anyways, if you're out there, Gregor, hey, love you, dude. No hard feelings, I guess. But he introduced me to Haruki Murakami, and so I tried After Dark because it was his shortest book, and it is now one of my favorite books of all time. I just reread it every now and again. I don't have the audiobook because I love the words. I will just open it up and start reading it, and that's where my top 5 books come into play. Those are books, and I need to redo my list, but those are books that I can just open up and just read certain chapters. It's like putting on a favorite album, but only listening to your favorite songs on that album, that kind of thing. Only listening to your favorite songs instead of your favorite albums, that kind of thing. So yeah, there's whole sections in here that I love, that I would look for. There's this cool concept. This is also the first book I ever read that was anything near magical realism, where weird stuff happens in the world, and it's just, you just got to go with it. It's just how the world rocks. I had never heard of magical realism before Gregor Zane. You're supposed to say fabulism, because magical realism is specifically Spanish authors. It is a Spanish author concept. If you want to get into a discussion about who can write what down there, I'm not stepping in that. I'm not stepping in it. I'm not. But fabulism, if it's not Spanish origins, then it's called fabulism. So either way, whatever you want to call it, Haruki Murakami writes it the best, that I've found anyways. I remember very vividly opening this up and feeling like I was automatically transported to a world that was not my own. And it's not fantasy. It's not like that. This is just Japan. It's just his Japan is much, much different than the Japan you might see on television. And it was like a second person kind of thing, where it was like we follow it's almost like written like a script, but not. It was written in narrative. It was like we follow the camera follows this, the camera follows that, while this person's sleeping. And I was like, that struck me. It really struck me. And then the conversations inside the diner, all that stuff, man. There's so many beautiful, wonderful sections in here. And at the time I read it, I was like, there's no point to this whatsoever. It was before I was doing literary, deep dives. There's no point to this. Well, there is a point to it. It's just I didn't get it. But I think that is a testament to a great story, that it doesn't have to mean anything. It doesn't have to mean anything for you to be able to enjoy it. You do not have to be able to explain it for it to be fun, for it to be engaging. And that's why I'm here today. These are books that you might not understand, but they're still going to be a hell of a lot of fun to read. Fast forward a couple years ago, I joined Book of the Month Club. I joined the Book of the Month Club, and the very first book I got, I have since bought the actual hardcover of this, and I still have the Book of the Month version laying around here somewhere. I read Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. I was absolutely blown away. I'd never read anything like it. The ending still haunts me, and I mean, I know I was picking on, people that put it. This book is haunting. This book literally haunts me. I think about its ending quite often, and I also think about the scene where they're broke down on the side of the road and somebody's vomiting. These aren't scenes that you would normally that you would normally think of that would stay with you. That's the best part about Jesmyn Ward, is there are scenes in her books that don't seem to mean too much that end up becoming the whole reason you love the book. Salvage the Bone, literally any of her books. I'm just picking this one because this is the one that did it for me. This is my gateway drug. This is it. But Salvage the Bones, let's see here, Where the Line Bleeds, Sing Unburied Sing, Let Us Descend. Any of those books are amazing, and I highly, highly recommend them. You can pick up any one of them. Salvage the Bones is probably the best one for, like, if you're trying to go from genre to literary fiction. I think that one, because it has certain things. It does have dogfighting, so if that is a turnoff for you, I mean, it's fiction. Remember that, it's fiction. But yeah, if that's a turnoff, then don't read Salvage the Bones. Maybe pick this one up, Sing Unburied Sing by Jesmyn Ward. The next two books I have are books that stood out to me as, hey, more genre fans should read these books because you'll enjoy it. The first one is because it is a mixture of, wait for it, The Body / Stand By Me meets Shawshank Redemption. You fuck with that? Then you need to fuck with this book, The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. This amazing story, just, I don't want to say anything other than it is The Body meets Shawshank Redemption. Boys home, violence, all the good stuff. All the stuff that you love about Shawshank Redemption and The Body or Stand By Me, everything you love about those stories is in this one. Go, run. Also, The Underground Railroad, fantastic book also, full of fabulism, magical realism, once again, whatever you want to call it. It's amazing. He is a tremendous author. There's one other book I've been meaning to read, and I'll probably go in and start it today because I forgot about it. I just keep forgetting about it. The Intuitionist. It's about an elevator investigator, something like that. It's very weird concepts. He also has a zombie story called Zone 1, something like that. But yeah, if you ever thought, I wish there was a mashup between The Body, Stand By Me, and Shawshank Redemption, this is it. Go read it now. The Nickel Boys, Colson Whitehead. Okay. Finally, this is a book that came out of the blue, out of nowhere. Me and my wife had just got through reading Infinite Jest together, a book that to this day I love. I still don't understand. I don't think anybody can understand fully what that novel is about and all of its different things. I think, honestly, it is about everything. And I was looking for more books like that one. I ended up finding Thomas Pynchon's. I ended up finding, oddly enough, Philip Roth, and a couple other authors. But I saw this one and I was like, hey, this is pretty genre. That's White Noise by Don DeLillo. This is about a chemical spill. It's very recent memory. That not only was this recently adapted with what's the guy that played Kylo Ren? Adam Driver. He was in it. Not only that, but also there were train crashes within the past couple of years that released chemicals into the air. That happens here. I'm not going to say what happens or if they even explain what happens to people caught in the chemical. But yeah, it's them running from it, and there's a very heavy theme of death. But oddly enough, this is the first book that I ever read that, well, it's the first time I thought to myself, wait a second, not everybody thinks about death all the time? And I know that sounds weird, and I know it sounds macabre, but I just thought that everybody thought about death every day, all the time. 'Cause I did. And it really hit home. And I asked my wife, I was like, do you not think about death all the time? And she's like, no, why would I? And pretty much the same thing happens in this book between a husband and wife. And I found that exceptional. It really gave me a view into other people's lives and how each of our minds, every single one of us are different at the very basic level and also at grander levels. How we can never know anyone else's story or what's going on. Even when you've spent 20 years with someone, you can never know. And I have an honorable mention because I just thought about it because it got me wait a second. Hold up. I'll be right back. I'm not going anywhere, but I'll be right back. Here's another one that I read by Luigi Pirandello, I believe. One, No One, and 100,000. This is a book I found. It was reviewed on somebody's channel. I can't remember. A dude sits there with a coffee cup and talks very, very slowly and methodically. He chooses his words very carefully. Complete opposite of me. Other than I do like my kofefe. All right. But this one is about a character who finally comes to terms with and realizes that he is not who people think he is. He's not even who he thinks he is. That we are a different construct for everybody that we meet. And that's where the one, no one, and 100,000 comes from. Because you have yourself, you have the fact that nobody sees you like you are, and you're really a nobody. No matter how you look at it, you're really not. You're just gonna die just like everybody else. And then 100,000, you are so many different people to so many different people. And I love that concept. So yeah, this one too. I'm going to throw this one in as an honorable mention. One, No One, and 100,000 by Luigi Pirandello. So that's the end. We've been here nearly 15 minutes, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Again, I'm not trying to convince you, try to talk you into reading only literary fiction or any of that nonsense. I hope you just read what you love and stop giving your attention to stuff that you don't like. It is okay to DNF books. It is okay not to like any of the books that I mentioned here. You can hate them with vitriol, with a piss and passion. I don't care. As long as you find something that you enjoy, that's all I ever want for you. Is for you to be able to read what you want to and enjoy whatever the fuck it is you enjoy. But until next time, I have been E, you have been you. This has been another discussion video. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye!